Are you still using debit cards when making payments in a shop? Well, did you know it's a really bad idea to use your debit card? Keep watching this video to find out exactly why. Now, first and foremost, your debit card is the gateway to your vault. It is the gateway to your money. If it's linked to your primary account, that is where the money from your salary comes into. That is where any savings that aren't in the savings account might be lying around, or savings that you haven't yet put into a savings account. It is where your money lives. So each time you make a payment with a debit card, you are giving somebody access not just to like some credit card company's money. You give them access to your current account. That's a really bad idea. Why would you do that when you can use a different piece of plastic that is in no way linked to your current account, where if somebody ever got hold of that number, they can never go after all of that money. If in the future you happen to have more money in your current account than you do today, all details can still go and be used to withdraw that money at that point. Don't do it. Only ever use a credit card. That's reason number one. Reason number two, you are considerably less protected if you're using a debit card than if you're using a credit card. Now, it's true that most UK banks are pretty good at processing fraud cases and refunding money quite quickly. And in most cases, genuine fraud does result in you getting your money back. But you may have noticed that when you follow the process with a bank, in many cases, what they will do is they will first carry out internal investigation, determine what the outcome should be, and only then will the money go back to your current account. In the meantime, they might ask you to fill in some forms. A lot of time might pass, several days, in some case more than a week. With a credit card, it's the other way around. The way that they are governed is slightly different to debit cards, and what that means is, as a consumer, you get your money back first, and the process for them to determine exactly what they're going to do about trying to recoup it or trying to write it off as fraud, that happens after. So that gives you two things. One, your money comes back more quickly, which is always a good thing. Number two, you definitely have a lot more rights to claim that money back, because with a debit card there is an element technically of proof that you have to provide that you definitely didn't commit it. With a credit card, it's the other way around. It's the credit card company that has to prove that you did do the transaction in order to say that in order to not pay out on the fraud. And that's a very small technical difference, but it's a big difference in terms of your ability to get your money back. So make sure you use a credit card, because if you get hit by fraud, you'd much prefer that it happen on a credit card than on your debit card. Reason number three, Section 75. When you make a large purchase of between £100 and £30,000, if you make that purchase on a credit card, you are protected by something called Section 75. Now, before I tell you what Section 75 is, you don't have to make the entire purchase with your credit card. If you make even a part of the purchase with a credit card, the entire sum of the overall purchase is protected, which is crazy but true. So let's say you're buying a car at a dealership. As long as you make a big part payment or an upfront payment or whatever it is with your credit card, the entire car will be covered by Section 75. Now, what Section 75 does is it protects you in the case that the goods or services that you have paid for are not delivered or provided to you, or not significantly not as described, damaged, or other circumstances like that. It's basically like having free insurance when you're purchasing something. Let's say you book a holiday or buy a new kitchen, and the firm that you've just paid several £1,000s to goes bust before you actually get the kitchen delivered or before you manage to go on a holiday. If you bought it on a credit card, you can claim that money back from your credit card company if you haven't managed to resolve it with the company directly or with the trading body that they're governed by, etc. As long as you can show that you've gone down those avenues. With a debit card, you have no protection whatsoever. The moment the money's left your account, it then becomes your problem, and if a company goes bust or there are other issues, you normally will have no recourse to get any money back. You'll be one of a very large number of people who money is owed to, and typically there won't be any money to pay out. So if you're making large purchases in particular, a credit card is always the way to go. Reason number 4, the various perks that credit cards offer you that debit cards do not. These are things like having cashback, having points, and various loyalty schemes. So every time that you make a purchase, if you use a credit card that has one of these perks, you'll get some kind of cashback, you get some kind of points that can be converted into cash or other benefits, and that stuff is free. With a debit card, you almost never get those. And I know there are some, but the vast majority of them do not offer this. So given that you can essentially get free money for the sake of using one piece of plastic over another, why would you not use a credit card as opposed to using the debit card if it's even just for that? So that's reason number 4. Reason number 5, the flexibility of choosing exactly how to repay, when to repay, and knowing exactly how much is going to come out of your account and being able to manage your balance much better. Now, what I mean by that is, with a debit card, when you make a purchase, the money has left your account. The moment you make that purchase and the transaction completes, it is gone. With a credit card, you never have to pay it upfront. The shortest time period, depending on which credit card you have, is going to be like 11 days from when you make the transaction to it having to be paid. And the maximum can be as high as 56, 58 days. Now, even if you repay your credit card in full every single month without it costing you a single penny in interest, you still benefit from the fact that for an average of about a month, you have the money in your pocket that you will then have to pay the credit card later, and you have the benefit of being able to do whatever you want with that money in that time. Even if you are a very savvy person who never borrows money, you can invest that money for that month, earn whatever small amount of interest or other benefit, then withdraw it, then make the credit card payment. Even if it's just for that, it's already worth it. But you then have the added flexibility of being able to make payments flexibly. Let's say you have a 0% purchase credit card, or let's say when the 1 month passes, you find there's some big unexpected cost that comes down your way, some major incident, whatever it is, you have the ability to not have to pay the full amount for a small amount of interest, defer your payment by a month by just making the minimum payment or spreading the cost of the stuff you've bought over several months. That's something that a debit card does not give you. With a credit card, you have the choice. And the beauty is you can make that choice a week later or 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later or whenever it is, when you have that much more information about what your financial situation is and whether you need to borrow, don't need to borrow, and if you do, how much and for how long. That's definitely worth having. It is a free choice that you can have, and if you can have it, then why wouldn't you? Reason number 6. Now, this is the last one, and it's a little bit quirky, it's a little bit different, but if you're making a debit card payment in a store, so you're handing over the physical credit card, the physical debit card to the person at the till, the actual bank account number and sort code are printed physically on the credit card just below your name. So especially in cases where you're buying something that's going to be delivered to you or your address is captured in any way, it's an even higher risk. You have the risk of giving somebody all the data they need to be able to set up a direct debit in your name. They have your name on the card, all your account details, address. They don't even need the address in most cases. But what that means is it's a relatively unusual type of fraud, but it still exists where somebody can set up a direct debit in your name and you won't know about it in most cases until a large chunk of money has left your account for a subscription service or a weird payment to a company you've never heard of, and getting the money back is a lengthy, quite complicated, and not always successful process, because direct debits are not treated the same as regular payments, and you'll go through a reasonable amount of pain in order to get your money back. With a credit card, you do not have that at all. So if you're going to be paying with stuff in the shop, use your credit card every single time. I hope you guys found this useful. If you did, please subscribe. Please hit the bell so you can get all the notifications whenever we release new videos, and new videos are going to come out very frequently over the next few weeks. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or want to see anything in upcoming videos. And if you do have questions, I'll do whatever I can to answer them. And see you guys next time. Have a good one.